Hello, everybody, and welcome back to MovieKombat Season 2. And when we last left off, Nate, what movie did we watch before this?
We left off at episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Yes, we did. And now our
It's an okay movie.
Yeah, I can look up the review here, but as I'm doing that, what movie were we supposed to watch for this episode? People have already seen the title of it, but what was the homework for this one?
Well, we were finishing up the trilogy, and we watched episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
We did watch episode 3. So as the rankings are right now, episode 1, 7.3 is the Primal Target official rating, and episode 2 was a 6.7. which lands on a borrow. And then the 7.3 is a worthy. So that was what that was. But yeah, so I guess I can kick it off with the
you can do the stats.
Our stats are the made up ones that I have kind of come up with through this whole entire series. So episode 3, our title crawl was 1 minute 17 seconds. Which is actually the shortest so far. Episode 2.
And the best.
That what?
And the best, I think.
Yeah. It got straight to the point. Episode 2 was 1 minute and 19 seconds. And episode 1 was 1 minute and 18 seconds. So kind of a weird way of that. But the I have a bad feeling about this counter was only said once. We only got that one time this whole entire movie. This 2 hour and 20 minute long movie.
Wow, that's up there with the new ones.
And then our lightsaber moments hit 17 different lightsaber moments.
Is that the highest?
Yes, it actually beat out Clone Wars. Because remember, we count any time a lightsaber is like unsheathed, like the bzzz, like anytime that happens.
Right.
That's
no matter how many people it is, it's just counted as one.
Exactly. Jedi mind trick. Didn't see it. There was no Jedi mind trick. I mean, unless you count. Well,
early time for it.
Yeah. We got one.
What, if you count Palpatine?
Yeah, I was gonna say Palpatine, but
Yeah.
And then we got one space battle out of this whole entire movie, which is actually pretty on par with what we got so far, except with episode 1, it came with 2. R2-D2 coming in clutch 4 times, I counted, and we will discuss those that is the most he has done so far. The other movies got 1s. Planets that we saw 7 different planets in this movie, which was the most out of any of them.
Yeah, this one's a big lore builder.
Yes. We got to see Coruscant, Kashyyyk, Mustafar, some moon that we didn't get the name of, Alderaan.
Oh, the one at the end?
Yeah, Tatooine, and another planet. There was some other planet we didn't really get the name of because it was said like really quickly, and then it was never said again. And then I sensed.
Oh, the one where Grievous is at?
Yeah, where he like meets up with Palpatine, like on his little holocron thing.
Right.
I sense a disturbance in the Force was said 0 times. No sensing in that. Jedi powers being used, I counted 19. I don't know when.
Wow.
But 19, which is the most. Actually, no, sorry.
That's probably all from the final chapter of the movie, huh?
Well, actually, episode 2 had 25 of them.
Oh, God.
So this one had coming in second place on that. And May the Force be with you was said 3 times, which is the most, tied with episode 1, which also said it 3 times. So those are my little stats of the evening. But Nate, why don't you tell us a little bit of how this whole thing started? How did episode 3, Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith, how did that movie start?
Well, it starts with the whole premise that General Grievous has essentially taken at this time still the Chancellor Palpatine as a hostage.
Mm-hmm.
So it opens up with Anakin and Obi-Wan leading a rescue attempt. And I also believe it's like the last stand for the Separatists as well. They're like launching it. It's a huge space battle above Coruscant.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting that this whole big battle's happening over a planet that's all city. But
right.
yeah, and then we get to see the one and only space battle that really happens in this movie.
Yeah, pretty good one too. I feel like the CGI is definitely feels like it's a step up from the first two in the trilogy.
Yeah, it's definitely like, hey, George Lucas knew how to use a computer, and like here's how he did it.
Also a bit newer too.
Yes,
so
yes.
might have better tech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When did this come out? 2007, 2006.
I think it's 2004.
Oh wow, it's really. But anyway, so yes, the space battle. Go ahead and what else happened in that?
Well, yeah. So basically, they end up having to like kind of crash land into
05.
Grievous's like capital ship that he has. Oh, 05. Okay. Because like Obi-Wan's ship, there's like these little like sabotage droids that
I believe they call them buzz droids.
At it.
I think they're called buzz droids.
I believe so. Yep. Little nice annoying things.
Yeah.
So is that did you count that as one of R2's clutch moments?
Yes, when he nails him in the eye. I think I counted that one. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so they land on the ship, and they end up like they take the elevator up to, find Palpatine.
Mm-hmm. But we see, so they finally get there. Both of them come in. Obi-Wan and Anakin are on their little rescue thing, and then they go up in the elevator, find out that Dooku is also on the ship, and then there's a little showdown that happens with that little
get a
thing
rematch.
Too. Yeah.
A little bit of comic relief too, with like R2 is trying to like hide from the droids in the little ship bay area.
Yes. And then and then during that whole process, Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting. Obi-Wan gets thrown against a thing and gets stuck.
He does not match up well with Dooku.
No, he got blown away twice, and not a good thing. Not a good scene for him.
He always gets knocked out by him. Dooku has his number, I guess.
I guess so. But Anakin has his, because he just full-on does it because he is told to do so. He just slices Dooku's head off with a little lightsaber scissors action.
Mm-hmm.
And
they definitely try to showcase that he's kind of reaching a new power level in this film.
Yeah. Now, this is one of those things where, does that count as Jedi mind trick? Because there was a lot of this starting to happen where he was falling into this like temptation.
Dark side, kind of.
Yes. But I would have counted it as
I don't know if that's supposed to be the intent or not. But
yeah, I think it's just Anakin's just giving in. It's not really a trick. It's more of he's just doing it. Yeah, but then they escape and start confronting Grievous here. What happens?
Yeah, because I think what ends up happening, right, is they get captured.
Mm-hmm.
Like on their way out, they get like stuck in that little force field thing, and then they get brought up to the I don't know what we call that, like the captain's area where Grievous is at.
The cockpit.
The cockpit, yeah. What is it called? Cockpit in a big ship like that?
Yeah, I would say so. Wherever the pilot's at, I would assume that would be the cockpit.
Right. And they don't really have much trouble breaking out of that. They're like held hostage, and I think this is another clutch R2 moment, right?
Yes, because he does his little dance before before anything happens.
And they break free. They fight those the name of those droids with the.
Oh, you know what? Those are the one things I've never known. Yeah, they're like his guardians, like, or something like that.
Right, the little anti Jedi droids.
Yeah, they have the little like the little buzz sound to their, and then they can fight with decapitated heads. I remember it in like Lego Star Wars that anytime you faced off against them, if their head popped off, they still fought you, so you had to keep attacking him until they exploded.
Until they're completely gone, yeah. And then Grievous, well, I think he realizes the tides have turned. He like throws one of those, the staffs from the droid, through the window of the ship.
Yes.
And escapes that way. And basically they have to like crash land this huge like capital ship as it's like falling apart in midair.
Yeah, and Anakin coming in clutch with like, oh yeah, did you know I knew how to fly random things?
Right.
Like, so
well, you probably would really realistically need a whole crew of people to pilot that thing.
Yeah.
But he's a Jedi, so we'll let it pass.
Yeah. And then we get some happy reunions of not just Palpatine returning to the council, but we also get a little bit of we get to see some love development coming from Anakin and Padme with a little reveal that happened, some news.
Right? Yeah, that she's pregnant.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where we get the seeds kind of for the...
All right, just so you guys know, if you want to know what I'm looking at, go to 26 minutes and 59 seconds into Star Wars Revenge of the Sith and just freeze frame.
It's probably bigger on your screen, but is it like the way her hair looks?
It's how derpy her face, her eyes look right there.
Yeah.
But yes, so we get more backstory of the fact that yes, Anakin and Padme have fallen in love. They've been loving a little too hard, and oop, she's pregnant. So
yeah, this is kind of setting up the kind of like the seeds for the story for the rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think now we're into. This is when he's having the visions.
Yep, he's having bad dreams about Padme, which is causing this whole thing.
Because he remembers the last time it happened, it came true.
Yes, so he's like, oh, I have to find a way to prevent all of this from happening. And
right.
He even seeks out help from our good old pal Yoda. But Yoda's starting to find out that there's a little darkness showing out of Anakin. And
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Yoda, he just wants him to like completely distance himself from any type of attachment whatsoever.
Yeah, because obviously, if anyone's gonna know Yoda, if anyone's gonna know that Anakin is with Padme, Yoda obviously kind of gives off the feeling that he knows that this is what's happening.
Yeah, he can sense it that he's not gonna give up that attachment.
Yeah. So then after that, what else do we have here?
I think this is when...
No, this is before the assignment. So, yeah, so he even goes and talks with Obi-Wan. Anakin goes talks with Obi-Wan. They go meet up with the Chancellor.
This mentor.
Yeah. Chancellor starts talking about how, like, oh, something about, something dark side. We move on. and then we go to the Jedi Council. Oh, yeah, he wants him to represent the Jedi Council. That's what he wants. Palpatine is asking Anakin to represent him on the council.
Right.
But good old Mace Windu's like, the hell he is.
Yeah, we do not grant you the rank of master.
Take a seat.
He's got the best lines, man. Doesn't speak very often.
Yeah.
Each one's a meme.
Take a sip. Yeah, Yoda kind of agrees and says, like, yeah, you don't really kind of fit here right now, but, whatever. And then they give him a little secret thing to do, though. But they
try going to be a double agent.
Yeah, they tell that to Obi-Wan as a secret agent sort of situation.
Right.
Fast forwarding here. Let's see here. We got Seeds of Distrust. Oh, yeah, he's starting to feel a little bit neglected from the rest of the council because they're like, hey, they don't trust me, but they want me to do...
At this point, he really likes Palpatine, and he doesn't want to betray him.
Exactly. And he's also like, well, I also want to be a Jedi, so I don't want to, like, mess this all up either.
Right, so he's like in limbo, conflicted.
Now we get the very famous tragedy of Darth Plagueis. That scene, that's literally what they've called it here in the table of context.
It's a very apt name.
Yes. You want to tell the tale of Darth Plagueis?
I don't know, but you can get your holocron.
No, it's dead. Remember, your cousin killed it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. God damn it, Jordan.
But do you remember the tragedy of Darth Plagueis?
Do I know it by heart? No.
Oh well, I mean, essentially.
I know what it is.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if you want to give it a shot, I mean, you don't have to like verbatim like say it. You could just give it here, or do you not know it? The gist.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is that Plagueis thought he found the way to basically cheat death.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like so like confident that he kind of like overlooked. Like Palpatine's basically telling the story in like third person of himself.
Yes.
But basically Plagueis was so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like basically confident, like he forgot about. Palpatine was like under his nose basically, and was able to easily betray him and kill Plagueis.
Yeah, that's pretty much kind of the gist.
And so now he knows the trick of
cheating
like
death
or immortality.
But we'll get to that in a couple more episodes. But yeah, he pretty much talks about how like, oh yeah, the only thing he didn't consider was the fact that his apprentice was going to kill him, and then
right,
which indicates that obviously Darth Plagueis' apprentice is Palpatine, or AKA the Chancellor.
Darth Sidious, yep.
Yeah. Yep, so after that we head over to Kashyyyk, where Master Yoda is giving our little phone call to the rest of the crew. We get to see some Wookiees for the first time as well.
Yep. Yoda's got good history with them.
Yeah, Chewbacca is also seen. And they fight droids. That's pretty much all that really happens.
Yep. Got a cool little battle scene there.
Yeah.
You see the clones in their like forest camo.
Yeah, pretty much just a huge callback just to say, hey, Yoda knew Chewbacca, but they never saw each other again. Like, that's pretty much that whole thing. And then we get to see, where are we at here? Brothers Farewell. So we get to see a final goodbye between Anakin and Obi-Wan until later on in the movie. I mean, way, way, way later on in the movie. And
the last time they're actually friendly with each
yeah,
other?
This is the last time they're actually brothers. And then we get more Anakin explaining to Padme of, yeah, I'm still having those nightmares, hun, and it ain't going so well. I am going to try and prevent it. After that, though, we get Obi-Wan.
Oh, there's your planet name.
Oh yeah, Arrival Utapu? Utapau. Utapau. There's that other random planet. That's where Grievous is at.
Utapo, we're going with that.
Utapo? Okay, anyway.
Well, I guess it's easier to say that way.
Yeah.
We're probably saying it wrong.
Yeah, probably. It's a Star Wars name. Half the names I've heard people call it the Millennium Falcon and the Millennium Falcon. So until we nothing is the same in Star Wars. It's all made up.
Those British people, they mess it all up.
Exactly. Okay, but anyway, yeah, so Obi-Wan, he's going to this planet, and what does he do here? What's his whole purpose here?
Well, so he's looking for where, like, basically General Grievous has escaped to, and they've kind of pinpointed that he's, like, in this area. So Obi-Wan kind of stops at this planet this is going to be, like, his home base to look in the area. And this guy, the guy that he ends up talking to, I don't know if we know his name.
I don't think he says his name, but
basically tells Obi-Wan that Grievous is here at this planet, and they are being held hostage.
Mm-hmm. He and then we also get to see the evil council as well.
Yeah, like the Legion of Doom, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Oops. Yeah, that's pretty much what it all is here. And then yeah, so Obi-Wan finds out where he's at, and then he does
he doesn't waste any time.
No, he literally drops in and goes, well, hello.
Yeah.
Or hello there.
He's definitely very confident in this scene.
And then all the droids show up.
I think it must be presumed, though, that he must have, he must have called for reinforcements before he jumped down, because obviously the clones
I
ended
mean,
up coming in.
he sort of did. He sent a message with his little R2 droid before it took off without him. But yeah, he was very confident in this scene. And then we get a little chase on this like four-legged or this two-legged no, it was four legs. This like thing that Grievous gets in, but then it's also a circle. And then also Obi-Wan's riding this giant lizard creature.
Yep.
But then
both these things have names. We just don't know what they are.
I have no idea what the lizard creature is. But then after that, we get a little cut back, and Anakin is talking with Mace Windu, of all people to be talking to. Or no, he's not. He's talking with yes, he talks with Mace Windu about stuff. Oh, don't play. Okay, cool. And I think, what does he talk about with him? Jedi War Council. I guess everyone's all across the whole place, and I guess they're trying to find where Grievous is.
Yeah, it was another thing where Mace Windu didn't like let him do something.
Oh, okay.
Like I think Anakin wanted, like, he requested something, and Mace Windu was like, "No, you're not going to do that.
You are not doing that. No." So then Anakin goes and sees Palpatine, and
and this is when he finds out Palpatine's full-on a Sith Lord.
Yes, this is where Sidious is revealed, and he full-on says, "Yep, I can teach you the ways of the dark side. That's where you can become powerful and all-knowing and all
like,
da-da-da-da."
Yeah, you gotta know both sides of the Force.
Yes, in order to be fully one, which is all deceit. Anakin then says, "Okay, I'm going to tell on you now," and he leaves. Then we cut back to the Otapu chase, which is the chase that Obi-Wan.
Too Furious.
Yes, pretty much Fast and Furious of Star Wars, and then we get a little lightsaber duel. Or no. Is there lightsabers that happen in this part? No, not at this part.
Well, I thought that you fought before that.
Yes.
Right? Before the chase.
Yes,
they fight,
did
and
before
then he escapes.
They did before that. And then I think Obi-Wan just full on blasts the dude, doesn't he?
At the end, how he defeats Grievous, yeah, because he's like hanging off the like cliff.
Yep.
There's like a gun next to him. I think he pulls the gun, and then he shoots him in the chest.
Yes, that is exactly.
Which I guess is Grievous's weak spot.
Yes, his blaster fire apparently.
Like I think he had it protected, but there was a scene where he pulled it kind of loose, so it showed his like heart or whatever.
Then we cut back to Anakin's story. We're on the A side now.
Yep.
And
this is when he tattletales.
Yep, he full on snitches on him. Mace learns the truth of Palpatine, of Chancellor, of that dude, the guy of many names. And Mace is like, "No shit." and so he's like, "All right, I'm gonna get a crew of guys that I'm so happen to be walking around with right now, and we're already at a destination."
Yeah, it's like they were planning to go somewhere else, and then they're like, "Nope."
Yeah, it looked like they were about to go out for dinner, and they were like, "Well, we might as well stop by to clear up a few things." But then after that, what happens here?
Well, this is when you get like your favorite scene, Ryan. This is when the movie gets very dramatic.
Yeah.
It's your operatic kind of music in the background.
Where they can sense
Anakin's
each other.
thinking hard. Padme's thinking hard.
Hard enough to apparently they could communicate.
Yep.
Okay. And then what happens here?
Well, I mean, Mace rolls up deep. Mace and his boys.
Him and his boys.
Yep.
Mace and his boys.
That's what the chapter should be called. Yeah, they didn't expect they didn't expect Sidious to be as powerful as he is.
Yeah, that was definitely a big turning point, even though this is the problem with this movie being
a prequel.
Yeah, because this would have been a huge like, what? No way. But then you're like,
True.
well, I know that's the same actor as Palpatine, so I know he is
You know he's
going
gonna
to
become the
turn.
Emperor. I'm sure the lightsaber was probably a shock, unless they had it in the trailer back then. I can't remember. They probably didn't, because that would be kind of a spoiler.
But I already knew that Anakin was Darth Vader before this movie came out.
Right.
Because, I mean, if you put 2 and 2 together and you're like, oh, you're Anakin Skywalker. That was in the last 3 other movies that came out.
Yep.
But yeah, jumping back here, Mace versus Sidious, we get that whole thing. And then Anakin shows up and he's like, no. He needs to live.
Yeah, because Mace Windu, eventually gets Sidious on the ropes. He's about ready to make the final blow, and then Anakin stops him, cuts off Mace Windu's hand.
And apparently long enough for Palpatine to just shock him out into the midair,
Wherever.
essentially.
Yep.
And no more.
I don't know if it's. I believe it's supposed to be that Palpatine let himself get in that position, from my understanding.
Yes.
He wants Anakin to save him.
Yes.
Because, of course, he has unlimited power after he gets saved.
Unlimited power.
Yep.
Yep.
And give Anakin an incentive to go fully to the dark side.
Yep. But then Palpatine gives him a little mission.
Yep.
As well as
he goes dark fast. He goes all the way dark.
Yes. If he was playing Knights of the Old Republic, he will be officially all red in the
yeah, his honor system is gone.
Yes. Yeah, he full on gets his mission. Order 66 is then commenced to the troopers and of all of the clones, which then starts the domino effect of all of the Jedi to die. And this scene, when I saw this for the first time, I was like, no. I was also like in 6th grade, so I was 12.
Oh yeah, this was a very sad scene the first time you see it.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Like, I don't know.
Even though most of the characters we really don't care about.
I mean, Ploy Kloon dies. Like, we get to see him die.
Yeah.
But yeah,
they're
the
like
rest
a big
of
deal
them,
more so in the animated series.
That's also true. He's just cool looking, I guess.
Right. Really, Mace Windu's a big character that gets. Well, really, even Mace Windu's not in the movie that much.
No. Yeah. So that happens, and Anakin goes back to Padme after he's done murdering everyone at the temple, and he pretty much says, like, you need to wait here. I need to go and deal with something with
Mustafar.
Yeah, Mustafar. Because
after he completes his mission at the temple, then Palpatine wants him. Well, really, he's full on Darth Sidious at this point. Asks him to go to Mustafar to take care of the separatist people left on there.
Mm-hmm. And Padme's starting to see, oh, you're evil. You're an evil person. And she's starting to realize, like, Chancellor Palpatine's evil because he's the one changing Anakin through these whole things and whatnot, and melding his mind into this horrible human being. But then Obi-Wan meets up with Yoda. Why did they meet up? What was the whole point? Oh, yeah, they were the remaining ones. They were like, hey, everyone's dead.
Yeah, because Yoda leaves Kashyyyk because he's able to escape because he senses it ahead of time.
Yeah, that's why he says, goodbye, Chewbacca. That's when he says it.
Never be seen again.
Yeah, and then we get to see the final moments of...
He becomes a full-on emperor.
Yep. And then, what is it? Padme says, this is how democracy is lost, by the sound of roaring applause, or something like that. Which I thought was a really good line. I thought it was a good line.
Yeah, it is.
But as that's happening, Yoda shows Obi-Wan something. Or actually, no, he finds something at the Jedi Temple. And Yoda says, you're not going to like what you see. What does he see?
Well, so yeah, in the security tape, he finds out that Anakin's the one that killed the younglings. Obi-Wan and Yoda had went back to the temple to deactivate the message that the I guess can we call them the Empire at this point? That
Yeah,
the
I
Empire
think
was sending out
I
to try to lure Jedi to Coruscant so they
yeah.
can kill him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then like the chapter's called, they learn the truth that Anakin has went to the dark side.
Mm-hmm. So as Obi-Wan has found that out, he's like, I need to go and talk with Padme and see if she knows all of what's happening, or maybe she knows why Anakin's doing all this. So he goes over there and starts talking with her, and she's like, no, that's impossible. He wouldn't do that. And he's like, you know that this is happening. I will find out where he's at. You need to tell me where he's at. And Padme's like, no, I'm not going to tell you. So then Padme leaves, but
and then he follows her.
he sneaks on to the ship in like the cargo bay or wherever he's at, and so Padme goes back to she goes to the planet where Anakin is at, which I don't know. How did she find where he was at? Did we ever?
Well, I believe he must have told her in that previous scene
that I'm going to Mustafar.
Wait there. Yeah.
Now
you're having me I'm questioning myself now. Unless she had some way of tracking him that we're missing.
Maybe he said that. I don't know. I don't remember him saying like, "Hey, I'm going over here to go kill all the rest of." Oh, he may have said that. He may have said like, "I'm going to go and take down the rest of the bad
Separatists."
Yeah, the Separatists. He may have said that. And then she was like, maybe put two and two together and went that way.
Right.
So that may have been explained. So he does that. Anakin kills everyone that he can. That's a part of that whole entire order. We get pushed back to
it's kind of a separate storyline here
to the what I like to call the Y storyline. Not because why. I thought this was actually kind of cool that we see Yoda visits the Emperor and pretty much knocks out his two bodyguards. And
that's a cool scene where he just walks up.
Yeah. And then we get transferred back to and they bicker whatnot, and then Palpatine.
The comedy in that scene, but
Palpatine then force pushes Yoda, and Yoda then starts crawling in a vent or whatever. Or no, that's not yet. That hasn't happened yet.
No, this is Sidious gets pushed back into his chair after. I'm surprised Yoda wasn't prepared for this, but he sends a force lightning to Yoda, and then Yoda gets like knocked out temporarily.
Mm-hmm. But he's kind of faking it.
And then and then it's weird. Like Sidious like helps him. I think he's forced to like kind of help him get up, so they can have like a more fair fight. So Yoda like gets up awkwardly, and then they proceed into this whole force battle.
Yeah.
Senate chambers.
Yeah, but before that, we get during this scene, these two scenes are happening at the same exact time. It's Palpatine versus Yoda, and Obi-Wan and Anakin start to fight. That was kind of when Padme landed on the ship. Padme is like, "Hey, I need you. You need to come home." Anakin's like, "I'm doing this for us to save you," and then he sees Obi-Wan walk down from the thing. As I don't know what he would have thought would have been happening. He just thinks that
there's probably no good moment for this, but
yeah, he thinks that I don't know, there might be a relationship going on between Padme and Obi-Wan, which isn't ever.
That they kind of play that in there a little bit that he might be.
Yeah,
I guess jealous of that.
Yeah, but it doesn't even like. There's never a moment when that even sounds logical, which is even weirder. But anyway, so yeah, he thinks this is all happening, and that Padme brought Obi-Wan there, and she's like, "No, I didn't." Yeah. And then he freaking chokes her, like she passes out.
That always felt like longer than it actually is, but he only chokes her for like a few seconds.
Yeah,
but yeah.
And then she passes out. Then Obi-Wan and Anakin yell at each other, and then they fight. Then we get back to Yoda and Sidious, and they're fighting in the whole thing. They're in the whole council room and
force clash.
Yoda escapes by crawling through a vent because he's a little tiny guy, and which is kind of funny to watch him crawl. But that happens.
Pros and cons of being that small.
Yeah, pretty much. And then we get the narrow escapes because lava is like falling all over the place with Obi-Wan and Anakin and whatnot.
Yeah, it starts to get real dramatic.
Mm-hmm. Yoda then escapes with General Organa, and they fly away. Then we come back to our battle brothers again for the final attack. This is where I have the high ground comes from. This is where everything is all happening. Right. Nate, why don't you tell us the final moments of Anakin Skywalker?
Well, so they've kind of been going toe to toe this whole time, and it's kind of clear that they're kind of completely matched, like lightsaber wise. But Obi-Wan gets the old veteran move on him, and he decides to jump off on this little like hill, this little mound, and of course, as we know, he has the high ground. Anakin's too prideful to, at this point, like live to fight another day and surrender, so he goes for it.
Yes.
And it does not work out.
Which I always found that this scene was like, I guess there's a callback that happens in episode 6 that George may have wrote for this movie, because there's a moment that happens, which we'll talk about in the future, between Vader and Luke, where he says something where he's like, Obi-Wan has taught you well. And I'll point that out when we get to that point.
Okay.
But yeah, the Emperor arrives to pick up a nice, good old, well done Anakin Skywalker, and I guess he left him in the oven a little too long, but enough to make the anger rise, I guess. We get the secret delivery, which I don't know what this one is. What is the secret delivery? Oh, okay. So yeah,
that's the kids, right?
Well, yes and no.
Or is that Vader?
No, this is they have found this asteroid that they're all gonna go to give birth to the kids. Yep. Yoda's there, Obi-Wan is there, and Organa is there, and they are all watching the birth. They find out that Padme does not want to live. She has given up life, even though she can live, which is stupid. That's a dumb thing. She lost the will to live. Yeah, I guess she's
just so heartbroken over
Annie.
The dark side, I guess. You would think that her kids being pregnant would have been enough motivation to stay alive.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, so I guess screw these two kids that you just named Luke and Leia, and now they're gonna die. And they did,
right.
and
it has to fit into the original trilogy.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So Padme dies, like that. Boom, done. She's gone. Vader then awakes, and he's like, "Hey, where's Padme?" And Palpatine's like, you killed her. Like, full on just hits him with it. And then he's like, no. And that's pretty much that. That's the whole thing. And then we get the future of the twins. What happens to those two little kids?
Well, yep, this is when they decide to split them up for their safety. General Organa takes Leia back with him to I'm blanking.
Alderaan.
Save the planet. Alderaan, yeah. To raise with basically the queen there.
Yes. And because they've always wanted a kid.
Tatooine. Right. Yeah. Because I guess she can't. She's like injured and she can't have kids or whatever from the book. But yeah, and then Obi-Wan takes Luke back to Tatooine. This is the story we all know.
Yep.
Hopefully explored more in the TV series, but.
Yeah, it is kind of weird that Luke is, instead of Obi-Wan training Luke, they just give him to family, which is also interesting. I don't know. It's an interesting choice that's what happened. That Luke is like given to.
Well, I think they didn't want Vader to find him, so.
Yeah, fair enough.
He doesn't train him.
Yeah,
I'm sure we could probably explain more too.
And maybe to like hide the fact that he is that force sensitive too. Because all the Jedi are being killed and whatnot. Maybe training is not the best thing. And But yeah, he gets dropped off with Uncle Ben and Aunt Beru, and A New Hope has begun. That's the end of the credits. 2 hours and 20 minutes and 4 seconds is the length of this movie. But yeah, that's pretty much that. So, I guess let's head over to the IMDb Corner. Nate, you're gonna have to look this one up on your end. But I'll kick things off here. IMDb Corner is where we get a little bit of some trivia, some taglines, some quotes, and some tech specs. I'm going to kick things off with the taglines for this movie. So let's go ahead and check those out. Tagline. There's only one. Oh, man.
Really?
And here it is. The saga is complete.
Damn. Little did they know it wasn't.
That it was not even close. Bad. That's a bad tagline. The fact that there's one. Bad.
You know, in like 10, 20 years, there'll probably be another trilogy they'll add on to
the
7, 8, and 9.
Yeah,
It'll
7,
be
8,
a new
9,
end. Yep.
All right, Nate. What do you got for trivia?
Let's see. Trivia. Let's see if I got to it fast enough.
Since in honor of, let's say here, you know what? Since this came out in 2005, why don't you hit us with 5 trivias here?
Whoa.
Number 1.
When we would get to episode 9, then 19 of them.
Well, no, it's just for this part. We'll see what I do over there. But number 1, hit me with a trivia.
This one seems like it might be. So it says a 10-year-old Han Solo was going to appear during the Battle of Kashyyyk as an orphan being raised by Chewbacca.
Wow.
He would have helped locate General Grievous by finding part of a transmitter droid that was sending signals from Utapo.
Which was
Obi-Wan.
The planet that Grievous was on.
Right. So I guess originally, they were going to have like Han Solo be to find that planet.
Huh. That would have been interesting. But then that would have retconned, Solo. When Solo was made. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Number 2.
What
do we got for our second bit of trivia?
Another interesting one. So Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen for 2 months in fencing and fitness in preparation for their epic battle. As a result of their practice, the speed at which Kenobi and Vader engaged the duel is the speed in which it was filmed. They didn't do any special effects to speed it up.
So when they're whacking each other like that, man, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Probably like those YouTube videos you see of that what is it, that lightsaber school?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, then there's also some places are doing fencing as actual lightsaber battles. But it's in the style of fencing, scoring and flips and stuff are legal and stuff. But all right, hit us with number 3. What's our third bit of trivia?
So, George Lucas deliberately made the Darth Vader suit top heavy. For instance, adding weight to the helmet to make Hayden Christensen appear not too accustomed to it in the movie.
Oh, okay. Because he's supposed to be new to the
uncomfortable, yeah.
Okay. That's pretty good prop design there.
So I wonder, did he already have maybe he already had the suit on to practice before that, so maybe he got used to it and George is like, nah, we gotta change that.
That would be weird that he's wearing this thing in test runs and then finally they switch him off to this other thing. All right. What are we at, number 4? What's our 4th bit of trivia here?
Okay. I want to be kind of long. I don't know.
Yeah, we got time.
Well, so this one is regarding Steven Spielberg. It says George Lucas allowed Spielberg to help design some sequences during production. This was partly because Spielberg wanted the experience of using pre-visualization techniques pioneered by, I think this is George Lucas's company, right? Industrial Light and Magic. As he was going to use them for War of the Worlds that also came out in 2000.
Spielberg did War of the Worlds? Oh, I
guess so. Maybe he was just a producer. I can't remember. It was also because Lucas felt his roles as writer, director, executive producer, and financer were taking up too much of his time, and he needed another director to bounce ideas off.
Huh.
Oh wow. Spielberg's main contribution was in the climactic lightsaber duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin. So
There is definitely a lot going on in those scenes too. So.
Yep.
All right, last bit of trivia.
One more.
Number 5. What do we get?
Okay, this is another. For some shots during the birth scene, the infants Luke and Leia were portrayed by an animatronic puppet.
What?
As this puppet was operated by Ewan McGregor, the cast jokingly referred to it as Foamy Wand Kenobi.
That's awesome. That is awesome. All right, let's head over to quotes. I guess I'll just read these off by myself here.
Okay.
These are sorted by total votes out of 117 quotes. Obi-Wan, you were the chosen one. It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them. Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness. Anakin Skywalker, I hate you. Obi-Wan, you are my brother, Anakin. I loved you. I'll do 3 of these. Number 2, Obi-Wan. It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground. Anakin Skywalker. You underestimate my power. Obi-Wan. Don't try it. And then he does, and he freaking gets lopped off. Let's see here. Man, this is a long one.
You got a whole play there?
It's pretty much just Anakin and Obi-Wan. I guess I could just do that one. That's a good one to end on, I guess. Obi-Wan Kenobi. You have allowed... Oh, wait, should I do like the British accent? You have allowed this Dark Lord to twist your mind until now. Until now, you've become the very thing you swore to destroy. Anakin Skywalker. Don't lecture me, Obi-Wan. I see through the lies of the Jedi. I do not fear the dark side as you do. I have brought peace, freedom, justice, and security to my new empire. Your new empire? Don't make me kill you. Anakin, my allegiance is with the Republic to democracy. If you're not with me, then you're my enemy. Obi-Wan Kenobi, realizing that Anakin is consumed by evil and there's no reasoning with him anymore.
Yep, he takes his jacket off.
Yep.
All right.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes, draws his lightsaber. Obi-Wan Kenobi, I will do what I must. Anakin Skywalker,
Classic.
You will try. Draws his lightsaber and confronts Obi-Wan. Oh my god.
Great scene, great scene.
That is a great scene. I was hoping I would get the Darth Plagueis one at the top here.
Oh, you're going to say the whole quote?
I was just wondering if it was at the top.
Oh, I'm sure it's in there somewhere.
It's pretty there. Oh my god. There's that whole dialogue with Anakin and Padme, that's in here. And then with Obi-Wan showing up. Or no, it's just Anakin and Padme. Oh man. There is some pretty
Tech
good
specs
lines.
are pretty interesting.
Why don't we head into those? Give us some tech specs here, Nate.
Because it looks like they already have the kind of the credit for the Disney Plus version.
Oh, interesting.
So, it looks like originally it was filmed on Sony camera. Originally mastered in just regular 2K for the digital intermediate. But they do add that it's got the Dolby Vision Master on.
Dolby Vision Master on what?
As part of the
cinematographic process.
Yep.
We had that problem when Josh was here too. We couldn't pronounce that either.
Yep.
Yeah, it does have
Oh,
that.
and they give credit to Dolby Atmos as well. That was the other one I was thinking about.
Printed film on 35mm and 70mm horizontal for IMAX DMR blow up. So to get those nice horizon
IMAX version.
Yeah, to get those nice horizon shots we got the 70 millimeter, but most of the film was shot in 35.
Yeah.
Sticking with film though, still sticking with film.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we got for that. Why don't we head into the review? And Nate, do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
Why don't you go ahead and go first?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Here's the thing about this movie. I saw. I think this was one of the last movies I saw at the old Lacey Theater that we had in
Before it was a church.
Before it was a church. I still have not been in that building. I'm curious to see what they've done.
Oh, really? It looks like a movie theater.
Oh, really? And then I think that was one of the first midnight showings I ever went to was Star Wars Revenge of the Sith with my dad.
So it wasn't at 9 p.m. It was actually right at
Oh, yeah. That was before midnight. That was, you had to be there in line to get your movie ticket, to get in the theater, to watch it at 12 o'clock. If you weren't there...
That was before they did the preview showings, huh?
Exactly. It was at midnight, and you couldn't pre-order those tickets. You had to stand in line. And if you weren't there at the right time, you'd be SOL. You wouldn't be getting no ticket. And you'd be seeing one at 1 or 2.
Right.
So there's a little nostalgia for me. I do think this movie is definitely way better than 2, and I think it's definitely better than 1. Yeah, the thing is with these movies, like we've said in pretty much every single episode so far, is that these movies are never going to get really below what episode 2 got.
Right. That's probably going to be the low bar.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see where Solo lands. I've heard it is better when you watch it later, so I have not seen it since theaters, so we'll see where that takes us. But, I'm kind of leaning more towards I'm going to go 7.5. I'm going to go 7.5 with Revenge of the Sith. No, you know what? Scratch that. I'm going to go 7.8. I'm going to give it a 7.8. The reason why I'm bumping it up a little bit is because I think that it does keep a nice, coherent story. There are some cringy moments, though, of still Lucas being Lucas in writing. I'm not saying that George Lucas is a terrible writer. By all means, he is definitely not. Clearly, we're doing a whole season dedicated to a series of movies that he mainly created. But there's just moments where it's like the Padme and Anakin scenes are just dry, and it's hard to really have Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman across from each other, even though Natalie Portman's really trying to drive a lot of personality when Hayden Christensen really isn't. I do think this movie is better, but I feel like it's kind of like how a lot of people think episode 9 is, where it's too little too late, where this movie definitely has that, like, they could have been this good.
The whole trilogy could have been like this.
Yeah, they could have been this good in the last movie. Like, that's kind of how I was.
Right.
I'm also
the third movie to be the best one of the. Usually, it's always the first one.
That which one?
Oh, I say it's kind of odd for usually the third movie in a sequel would usually be the one. Although technically the originals would be the true first ones, but
of what?
Of Star Wars. Usually the saying where usually the sequels is not as good as the original.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So
it's kind of odd that the last of the trilogy is kind of the best one.
Yes.
Of those three.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, and the reason why I'm not really thinking it's an 8, like, which is a marvelous movie. I think this movie is definitely worthy, has a ton of potential of being a marvelous movie, but just really isn't an 8. So I have to kind of dock it on some of the writing isn't great, but I think there were some really good scenes though. I mean, that the scene with Anakin and Obi-Wan, the reason why that thing is memed so hard is because it's a good scene. And the dialogue between Palpatine and Anakin is pretty good. The chemistry there was decent, even though, like, Hayden Christensen's deliveries is really just dry. He really brings it down so much.
I think this one fits his personality that he's supposed to have better though than
I will agree with you.
Second one.
I will agree with you that it fits more that he is acting the way he is in this film than he was in the last film.
Because he's fully dark now.
Yes. And then speaking of dark, whenever he is evil, he's freaking evil. He is a bad dude. He kills everyone on screen. As soon as he's turned to Darth Vader, he is killing everybody. There is not one living person other than Padme that he leaves alone. And Padme almost dies. So
yeah.
But yeah, I think it's 7.8 from me. That's where
7.
I'm gonna.
8. Mm-hmm. Now what is your you might go scoring convention again. So 8 you said was Marvel.
So a 10 is groundbreaking, a 9 to 9.9 is a must-have, an 8 to 8.9 is marvelous, a 7 to 7.9 is worthy, which means like worthy of owning, having in your collection, things like that. Worthy of spending money is what I guess it should be. A 6 to 6.9 is a borrow, which means like, hey, your buddy has it, why not just take it? Take it for a day. You don't really need to spend money on it. 5 to 5.9 is meh, maybe spend your time, but you could pass. 4 to 4.9 is mediocre. 3 to 3.9 is terrible. 2 to 2.9 is horrific. 1 to 1.9 is unplayable or unwatchable. And 0 to 0.9 is trash.
Okay. So I think I'm going to give it a I think I'm going to go with the 8.5.
8.5, a marvelous rating. Okay.
And I think this is definitely in the upper echelon of the saga. And I think by like audience scores, I think many people consider this to be the best one. Like I'm seeing even like on IMDb it's got 7.5, it's got 4.5 stars on Amazon. I think IGN or Star Wars Theory ran a poll. I think it was Star Wars Theory, and this was the top movie that everybody voted for.
Mm-hmm. I think this is definitely it's a Star Wars movie. I think that this movie is a Star Wars movie.
It's the most Star Warsy of all of them, I think.
Yeah,
in terms of the lore, the lightsaber.
Exactly,
fights.
And the thing is I feel that was another thing that I really liked about the movie. Was the lightsabers, though there were more times that it was drawn, were appropriately used and not just like looking like a rave in episode 2.
Like in 2, yeah.
So just for you guys know, mathematically, the final score is an 8.1, which does make Star Wars. Oh wait, actually, we round up. It is an 8.2. Which is a marvelous rating. So Star Wars Episode 3 gets an 8.2 from Primal Target, which gives it a marvelous rating. Yeah, it's definitely worth it. I think you can go back and see this movie. Like, all honesty.
Oh, yeah. Really, in terms of your scale, it was tempting to go 9 because you have that as a must-have. I think it is definitely a must-have in the Star Wars collection. Of course, it comes that weird thing as standalone. Obviously, it's probably not a must-have.
That is the thing. That's why I kind of gave it a little bit lower rating, was because as a standalone film, is this standalone film like in that era? And that's why I kind of gave it the 7.8.
Yeah.
But
I gotta be strategic because I know.
Yeah, there are better movies to come.
Yeah, so I don't want to give this a 9.2, and then everything from there is gonna be.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a 9 now.
But also, this is your first time kind of rating things on this scale, so I'm not going to give you much of a flack of it, and in the average will be the average. So, but yeah, I think it's definitely worth owning. I think it's definitely something you can go back and like watch. Really, you could just watch this episode alone. Like a lot of that stuff that happens in 1 and 2 aren't really worth going back and watching.
Especially because you already know who all the characters are. So
yeah. Well, yeah, and then the thing is, like, the pod racing stuff, little Annie, you don't really need to know that he's this all-powerful little kid because they kind of reiterate all that in this episode. And Palpatine kind of shows his whole entire hand in this one episode, even though he's in the last 2.
Yeah. I mean, 2 might be kind of cool just because if you want the backstory of the clones, but then again, the clones aren't in the original trilogy, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, and the whole entire if you want clones, just watch Clone Wars and watch the
True.
last 25 minutes of episode 2.
Yep.
But yeah, I think an 8.2 is a pretty decent rating for
That
episode
sounds about
3.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a marvelous rating. That is what it's going to be. Ladies and gentlemen, what would you have given Star Wars Episode 3? If you want to check out all of our MovieKombat reviews, go head over to primaltarget.com, click on the MovieKombat thing, and you will see all of MovieKombat Season 1 and 2 in all of its ratings. If you guys want to check out more videos here on YouTube, hit subscribe, tap the bell button, get notified when videos get uploaded. If you're listening on audio, you can hit subscribe on iTunes, Podbean, or wherever you are listening to this. Please rate it, because if you do, it helps us out. It spreads the word of Primal Target, gets MovieKombat out there, and that's how that all works out. Nate, any final words? What is our homework for next week?
Well, so I guess we're on to Solo.
Yes.
Second to the most recent one.
That is crazy that we're...
It is weird in this order, yeah, because now it's like... Yeah, you get the whole like timeline kind of hits you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, this is where Solo fits in.
All right. You can check those movies out by buying them, or I think Disney Plus pretty much has everything now, so you should be able to watch everything on Disney Plus. No sponsor, but willing. Any final words?
Nope.
Okay.
No,
All right.
Force be with you.
Oh, always.